going on, YouTube? Today I wanted to make a video specifically for my nephew Brandon, who is 6, and he's gone out of his way to subscribe to me on YouTube and is a big fan of the videos and thinks it's the coolest thing that I have followers and all that stuff. But I can't very well make a video of me saying, "Hi Brandon," for 5 minutes and expect anyone else to watch it. So I'm going to keep it pretty much in the same wheelhouse with the rest of the channel and the rest of the stuff we do here at BTT, and I'm going to do the 5 best coasters that kids must ride without it being a kid coaster. So basically, we're going to talk about the startup coasters. Everybody has their kids coasters and all that other kind of stuff, but for this list we're looking specifically at coasters that you can work your way up to bigger coasters. Yeah, they're not really that big of a deal for coaster riders, but well, we'll get into that. But so quick history, most of my family, if you've watched my videos, loves coasters and theme parks, but my little sister does not. And while that does mean that my nephew Bran is kind of scared of coasters, he does love to watch the videos and he likes to go to the parks. He just doesn't like the coasters. So now I'm talking to you, Brandon. Hi. These are roller coasters that you need to go on because they're fun and not at all scary. Okay, yeah, maybe they're a little scary, but they're not bad coasters. They're good coasters and they're fun, and they're going to lead you to want to ride bigger and better and actual scary coasters. And while I'm aiming this at Bran, this actually applies to anyone with little kids who's trying to get them to get the courage to go on more coasters. It's pretty much a given that if you go to a theme park, you can probably get your kids on a kids coaster, and you know the ones I'm talking about: Elmo, Grover, the Hippogriff at Universal, especially if it's an area surrounded by kids stuff. So, you know, I would love to include every single Grover and kid coaster on the planet. We're going to be excluding them from this list, and instead we're going to focus on coasters that might look a little scary, but they're not really, and they're also going to be great coasters to want you to ride more coasters. So, with all that aside, let's move right on the list, and we're going to keep it down simple to 5. And number 5 is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Now, whether it's at Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, Thunder Mountain is a first great big coaster for kids to start on. It's a train, it has dinosaur bones, it's fast and crazy. There are a few little scary elements like being in the dark a little, and if you have a kid that doesn't like really loud noises, there are some really loud parts, especially as it comes down that hill and it gets into the brake and the click, 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 click. But it really is a fun ride because there's so much to look at, and it's a train, it's a runaway mine train. How much fun is that? And it can lead to bigger rides down the road. From Big Thunder Mountain, you might want to do something like Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens in Tampa. And Busch Gardens in Tampa is unique because it is full of some really big, scary, and fun coasters. Cobra's Curse is probably the best for the entire family because it's the least scary of all the coasters. It looks big, but it's not really big. It looks scary because there's a giant freaking snake head, but it's not scary at all. And it doesn't go upside down. It spins a little bit, but that's really the fun part. And now you go through a line where you see the Snake King and you hear the whole story, and you end up on this really cool little mine coaster that gives you a good look at the animals as you go up. And the lift hill, it goes straight up without being on your back, so you kind of lift like an elevator. So it's really a good, fast, fun coaster, or a good, fast lift, and it doesn't have that click, click, click of a regular coaster as you're slowly going up the hill. I know for me, that's probably one of the worst parts of it, is going up that big hill. And for a lot of people, because that's the whole psychological element, you have to go all the way up and then you go all the way down. This one, you go up really quick. You're there and then you're done. And you do get to see the animals as you go by. You also get to see the train and the rest of the park, and you also have a good, nice ride and get a little spin and a little couple crazy elements, but it's not bad at all. Number 3, Wave Breaker, the rescue coaster at SeaWorld San Antonio. What is cooler than speeding out on a jet ski and rescuing animals? Nothing! This coaster launches you out over the water and you feel like you're actually on a jet ski because the cars are shaped like jet skis. And you get to feel like you're on a jet ski without getting wet. It's fast, it's fun, and it doesn't have really any major scary parts. It has a couple of hills, no upside down parts, but it's a great coaster for kids to start out on because it gets that speed element. Number 2, Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Now this coaster is still a favorite of mine. By today's standards, it's pretty tame, but to a kid, that crap is pretty intimidating. It has 2 loops, but it's not very tall. It's short and it has a really cool cave. And granted, that cave is dark and that drop into the river grabs you right by the beanbag, but it's so much fun and it has this whole cool vibe to it. You got the whole Loch Ness Monster mythology and you got basically just a really kind of simple queue, and you go and you get on the coaster and you're done. It makes kids really feel like they accomplished something when they ride it, which is the most important part, because you want them to feel that they conquered something and they can move on to the next thing. Which brings me to number 1. Rockin' Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's in the dark, it's fast, and it has loops. Now, if you don't like coasters, this one sounds like a nightmare. But then you get shot off and go through a giant donut and things don't seem so bad. This classic Disney coaster starts off on the fun side with cool pre-shows, and they let you sit there while you're in line and watch the other coasters shoot off. Then it brings it all together by playing the fun music of Aerosmith, and it has some really cool props. Like I said, you go shooting through a donut, and there's also hamburger stands and road signs and everything else. And this is actually a true story. This was my son Clifton's first big coaster. He was nervous about it until it launched. And then I look over and he's got his hands up screaming, "This is awesome!" And you know what? It is. It's a fun time for the first time rider. It puts you in the middle of a rock concert, which, you know, who doesn't love a rock concert? And it makes them come off feeling like they just did something really big, even though it's one of the smaller, more tame coasters at Disney. And it's all about doing that whole prep with all your kids to make them want to ride bigger and faster and meaner coasters. And it worked for my kids. Now, do you agree with our list? What would you say is the best first big coaster? Now, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe and click that little bell to get notified when we upload a new video. Also, be sure to check BehindTheThrills.com every day for the latest theme park news and updates. Until next time, thanks for riding.